Hey guys, welcome to week 4, lesson 1, geometry. In this unit, we're going to focus specifically on area. Our learning target for today is I can solve problems for the area of squares, rectangles, parallelograms, triangles, and trapezoids. Our criteria for success. 1, we determine the shape. Second, we're going to locate the dimensions of the shape. So we're going to look at which of the sides are already labeled. Step 3, we're going to determine which dimension is missing. Step 4, substitute the known values into the formula. And then step 5, calculate the unknown value. Now remember, area is measured in square units. So for example, when we do inches times inches, we end up with inches squared. Centimeters times centimeters is centimeters squared, and meters times meters is meters squared. So when you're looking at any two sides of a shape and you multiply them together, you are going to make sure that your final answer for area is in the square units. Now let's refresh on our shape formulas. So remember, square is a equals a squared. So if this side is labeled A and this side is labeled A, they're both going to be the same length because it's a square. The rectangle, we're going to multiply base times height. Remember, your base is at the bottom. It's our foundation. It's the bottom of the shape times the height. Our parallelogram is going to be base times the height. Now remember, with our parallelogram, we're not looking for the length that's diagonal. We want the length that goes up and down. Remember, when we're looking for height, think about us as humans. When we measure our height, we are up and down. So our height is measured as up and down. We're not diagonal. So our height, remember when we're looking at a shape, needs to look at up and down. Now for the triangle, to calculate the area, it's a little bit different. So with triangles, again, we need to look at the base and the height, but then we have to take that second step and divide by 2. Now, if you can remember when we were first in class and we were learning about this, the reason that we have to divide the base times the height by 2 is because think about if we had finished off this triangle, it would make a square or a rectangle. And half of that square or rectangle would be the actual area of this triangle. So remember, to find the area of a triangle, we need to multiply the base and the height, and then divide that by 2. For trapezoid, to calculate the area of a trapezoid, we have to add up the length of base 1 and base 2. So base 1 and base 2, and then we divide the sum of the length of base 1 and base 2 by 2. So base 1 plus base 2, then divide that by 2. After we've come up with that, we need to multiply it by the height. Remember, the height is up and down. The height will not be diagonal. So let's take a look at a few examples. Now remember, this shape is a parallelogram. So our formula for area is going to be area equals base times height. When we substitute in our lengths, we know that 14 is our base. It's down here at the bottom. Our height is 7. 14 times 7 will give us 98. So then the answer is 98 centimeters squared. Don't forget, area is always squared. For the next shape, we have a triangle. Our formula is area equals base times height divided by 2. So if we go in and do the substitution and our work, area is going to equal 2.8, which is our base, times our height of 1.5, and then again we divide by 2. So 2.8 times 1.5 will give us 4.2. Then we're going to take that and divide it by 2, which will give us 2.1. So the answer right here should be 2.1 feet squared. Sorry, it shouldn't be 21. It should say 2.1. Now notice on this one, it gives us a lot of extra numbers here. And the only two numbers we actually need are these two right here, 2.8 and 1.5. This 2.1 should be gone and 2.3 should be gone. Okay, so for our next shape, we have a trapezoid. Now this one we're looking at, we have a whole bunch of numbers everywhere. So remember guys, when we're looking at shapes like these, let's eliminate the dimensions that we don't need. So we could already cross off 13 and cross off 12 because we know that for a trapezoid, we only need the two bases and the height. So 24, 22, and 11. So if we substitute those in, we know base 1 is 24, base 2 is 22, and our height is 11. So if we do 24 plus 22, we end up with 46. Divide that by 2, and then multiply it by 11. So 46 divided by 2 gives us 23. Multiply that times 11, we'll end up with 253. So our answer should be 253 meters squared. Or I'm sorry, it should actually be millimeters squared. Okay, the next one is a rectangle. This one, again, is pretty simple. So our area equals base times height. So our base, remember, even if it's up at the top, we know that this length is going to be the exact same right here. So our base is 12.5 times our height of 6. So 12.5 times 6 would give us 75. So the area for a rectangle is 75 inches squared. So let's look at this as a word problem. So it's still going to be the same thing with calculating the area of a shape, but now it's just putting it into a word problem. So this word problem says, what is the area of the triangle shown in square inches? So if we were to have annotated this and used cubes on it, we know we're looking for area of the triangle in square inches. So this triangle is flipped on its side. Let's say you had a piece of paper, you could flip it to where it was up and down, okay? So our 5.5 would be right down here, and our height would go up and down. So now to solve this problem, we need to follow the success criteria, which we had been doing. So we know the name of our shape is a triangle. The area formula is area equals base times height divided by 2. And then if we go through and substitute it, remember, this dimension right here this is our base. Remember, if we had flipped up our triangle, that would actually be at the bottom. So it's 5.5 times 10, which is our height, and then we have to divide it by 2. So 5.5 times 10 gives us 55. 55 divided by 2 would give us 27.5. So we know our answer would be 27.5 inches squared. So it would be D. The area of the triangle shown is 27.5 inches squared. Let's take a look at another one. Cheryl's design is created using trapezoids like the one shown below. The dimensions of the trapezoid are shown in the diagram below. What is the area of the trapezoid in square inches? So again, to solve this problem, we'll follow our success criteria. So the name of our shape is a trapezoid. Our area formula is area equals base 1 plus base 2 divided by 2 times height. So we know base 1 is 13 plus base 2 is 8, and then our height is 8 as well. So if we go through and we look at our work, 13 plus 8 will give us 21. And then 21 divided by 2 will give us 10.5. 10.5 times 8 will give us 84. So the answer is A. The area of the trapezoid is 84 inches squared. So today we learned how to solve problems for the area of squares, rectangles, parallelograms, triangles, and trapezoids. Remember, guys, area is measured in square units, so don't forget that. Please be sure to do the practice, guys, before you go on to do the assignments, because it does give you a few hints for things that I think you could possibly mess up on, and just it's also really good to practice since we're not in school. So please have a great day, and I will talk to you soon.